Hello, welcome to Marts Garage. This is the vise that I recently picked up from my friend's scrapyard. It's quite a substantial unit actually. It's kind of more heavy duty than you tend to think. Now, I didn't know what it was when I bought it, but I thought, well, that looks handy. I have seen people use swivel vices like this, but what I found out since is that it's called a Swindens, S-W-I-N-D-E-N, and they are actually quite sought after. So, you know, lucky me. I actually have been using it, but I wanted to kind of not do a resto on it, but just clean it up, make sure that everything works nice and freely. The vice part isn't seized. I've actually already unscrewed it out and just washed it with a bit of brake cleaner. So that goes in and out nice and easily. These jaws are quite good and the bolts are in place, but the jaws there aren't very good. What I'll do, I'll clamp it here on the corner of the table, and I'll be able to show you a little bit more about it. This is a 4-inch vise. These jaws here are rather knocked about. There's a lot of centre punch marks there, I don't know why. There's a handy pad there for hammering on, or dripping paint on, or putting your cup of tea on, which is good. There's a clamping piece here which should have a spanner on it, which should be retained by that, but that's missing. But that's like a 1/2 inch AF. These bolts are Whitworth and the nuts are Whitworth, and they're countersunk. These jaws are very heavily rounded on this side. It moves nice and freely, and I have actually been using it just here, just to hold things. Not for sawing or anything like that, but for like holding things at a certain angle for welding and stuff like that. When this is loosened, the whole body can rotate. So while I don't really want to do a massive restoration, what I do want to do is to get it rotating freely, because it's very stiff to rotate. So I'll just close this up a little bit and you'll sort of see what I mean. If you try and rotate it that way, it's a bit of a struggle. Oh, it will go. Yeah, it does go. Okay, no, I'll stop there. If you do it this way, it's a bit easier. Only a bit, but a little bit easier. Oh. Okay, I need to move it slightly because the jaw is fouling the table. So there you can see the like the pipe jaws there. There's a pair of pipe jaws there, and they've got a little radius to them. But it's quite handy for holding things. I've already held like a gearbox output flange in there to undo the nut, you know, which is quite helpful. But if you can't turn it easily. I'd like to be able to turn it easily, so that's number one job. Now, if you do go on YouTube, you can see people, well, at least one person who's done a little bit of a rework on one of these. If you want to get it apart, this ring comes off. And what is missing on this one is like an end cap that goes on there, but that actually doesn't stop it from working. So what I think I'll do, you've got the idea now. What I'll do, I'll take the middle out, and I'll see about getting this ring off here See if I can get that off, and then get this piece out of there, then clean it up, put it back together. The other thing I might do is make some new jaws, and I have cut a couple of pieces of metal there which may or may not do the job, but these are only mild steel. I think these are hard, but as it isn't my only vice, some relatively soft jaws might not be a bad idea. And there's a bolt missing there. It doesn't appear to be badly abused. The handle's not bent, the end plate isn't all bent out where they've used, you know, been forcing it apart like that because it's been seized. So it's never been seized. It hasn't been abused other than just general bashing about, and it's in good working order. So let's get it back into good working order. Now here, I don't know if it's there, but certainly there, can you see there is a grub screw, and I'm not sure if that's one, or is that just an alignment mark. That might just be an alignment mark, but that is a grub screw, and that would need to come out. But what I'll do first, I'll take this out. I'll take this out first. Now I've seen it where people have had to grind here because it's all mushroomed out, and really struggle with these, but this one came apart easily. I've already had this out once. Obviously you have to beware of your toes because it could all come on the floor. I don't think it falls out, I think it's just, that's it, stops moving, then you have to just pull it the rest of the way. There. So that can go there. Okay. Now inside there's a nut which kind of slots into the side like that. So there's a big nut there, and that's kind of keyed into this body and that somehow. Yeah, there's a key there and there's a key there, so that goes like that, one way around or the other, I'm not sure. Oh, I wonder if I can, if I take that off, I wonder if this will come out. Then I can put like a chisel in there and open it up. Maybe I can just put a chisel in there anyway. Let me have a look. Oh, look at that, that's good, isn't it? Wow, okay. Okay, this is easier than I thought. Okay, good. See the rust at the bottom there, look? So that can be cleaned out. You know, this looks good, doesn't it, actually? Looks pretty good. This can be all cleaned up and declagged. Get the rust off. Just wire brush it, I think. Just a case of wire brushing it. Just for an initial job, just wire brush it. I don't know what that hole's for. I wonder if it's for lubrication. Don't know. just a case of wire brushing it and clean everything up, clean it up a bit and put it back together. Yeah, I think I'll just wire brush it, and then when it's finished I'll just put a coat of linseed oil on it. And what I'll do, I'll undo the jaws, undo all the bolts, clean all the threads, clean all the nuts, and look about a new pair of jaws, but I might not even bother with that. I might just turn these ones over. They are badly out of shape though. Okay, yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? It's very poorly cast. I'll see if I can clean this up on the wire wheel and so we can read it a bit better. Oh, there's a little bit more, isn't there? I need to undo these 4 screws and get the screw out and clean all that up. Although it looks pretty good to me. I think this has been in kind of regular use until recently. They're not a difficult thing to dismantle, there ain't a lot to them. Okay, that'll do for now. You don't need to see me wire brushing them. I'm not really dressed for wire brushing because it'll make me really dirty, so I'll put some other clothes on and start cleaning things up. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello. I've cleaned up the basic parts, well, some of them, and I just put that piece in the lathe and kind of polished it a bit, but I put a little bit of grease on it, and now when I put it in, that spins freely, but when I take that out it turns, but it's, you know, a bit more. It does turn though, and I'll show you what I've just found. There's like a military mark there, 405 569, and then on that jaw there 405 569. So, you know, this is the matched part to that. They were, you know, made as a matched pair, but it was military issue. I will continue to put it together. that number's stamped on that piece as well. And there's a line there which I've lined up with the 4-inch jaw. So I'm hoping when I start that screw there, the other one will also line up. The screw went flying off the wire well, I can't find it. Let's try see if I can do this other one without losing it. The other one does line up, more or less. Right, there's a nut. I've got to go and clean this. That end is cut off short, so I wonder what that means. There's like a rounded end there that seems to fit better, so this has to go. You have to locate this. Use gravity, Mart. There's a slot down here. There's a slot down there where the nut goes into. So that nut goes in there. And this piece goes like that. Just checking that it's closing enough. Yeah, that's it. That's okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay, right, good. So now it rotates nice and freely. Well, you know, without being loose. Actually, I don't know if that is a military mark or if it's an alignment mark. It looks like a military arrow, but there's one there as well pointing that way. Could be, but I'm not sure. Well, it looks a bit better than it was. I can't say a lot better than it was, but it looks a bit better than it was. It's not dirty. It's just got a little bit of oil and grease on it from when I've been putting it back together. I think I will leave it at that for now and call that, let's call that part 1. And what I'll do is I'll make some jaws for it and then possibly make some new bolts, or get some bolts, get some nuts, or if I make the jaws I might make them with blind holes and just put bolts in from this side. I might do that. Anyway, it looks better already, and certainly works better already because it's nice and easy to move now. And I will have another look I'll have another look, and I'll have another look for that bolt that went missing, that screw. So anyway, there it is, looking good. And even now you can't read it, even now you can't read it. The quality of the casting is very poor, but it's not cast iron, it's steel. That's not really an excuse, but this is cast steel. It's a bit of a different animal. It's all cast steel. It's very, very high quality. And very handy. Okay, let's leave that at that for now. Who knows, there might not even be a part 2. You might have to just imagine part 2. But I think that's a good little exercise there. I've only just took a couple of hours, no time at all really. Anyway, that's my little visor I bought from the scrapyard. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. You take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Okay, I've more or less decided there isn't going to be a part 2. This is going to be it, because to be honest I just haven't got time to make new jaws and things like that. I'm quite busy at the moment on other things, so I'm just going to put these jaws in, and I'm going to put them upside down from what they were. I'll put in the 3 bolts that are there. I've already put the pipe jaws in. I've just filed these, so these aren't hard. That's why they're so badly worn. So it wouldn't hurt to make a new pair of jaws, but for now I'm just going to put these back in. I've just given them a bit of a clean up. I've cleaned the bolts and the nuts. This bolt is quite badly worn. I think this was the single bolt that was on the jaw where the other bolt was missing, so this one's got quite badly worn. So I'll put it here where I'm going to put the 2 bolts. Somewhere I've got some bolts like this. Well, screws I suppose you ought to say. Yeah. Not very dexterous with these gloves on. Okay. There she blows. The Marts Garage Swindon's Vice Resto. I've restored it to how it was when I got it. Yeah, it's a thing of rugged beauty, isn't it? It's the ugliest, most knocked about thing, but very, very useful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me just take a couple of hours and get this thing into a position where I can use it a bit more readily. And I've enjoyed myself, so you'll see it being used anyway on various jobs. Hello, it's a few days later, and I just wanted to report that I have received some new bolts, and I've taken 4 of them and replaced these 4 here. They're a little bit long as received, so I just put each one in and put a hacksaw against it where I wanted to cut it off, then cut it off and then put it in the lathe and just took a file and cleaned the ends up. So there it is. It's looking quite handsome, and these ones are different. They've got a hex key head in there, so they're nice and strong. 12.9 grade, very strong. The other thing that I did was to this was a little key thing that I sort of made or modified from sort of scrap parts, and it's got a socket on there that fits that, so that can just sit on there now. It's actually a hex drive, which is a bit unusual, but yeah, so that fits on there, so I can undo the clamp, I can undo it and tighten it up. That'll just stay there, and it swivels when I want it to. So I've got new bolts in there. I haven't replaced those, but I could if I wanted to. I've got enough of these to do that as well. But these were never loose or missing, so they're in good condition. So there we are, the Swindon's Vice, a very handy and welcome addition to the workshop. I hope you enjoyed my non-restoration of the Vice, and it just shows to keep your eyes open. You never know what you're going to stumble across. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. You take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye then.